Hi everyone, I'm Roma and you're on the Dr.cash channel. Today I'm hosting some familiar faces. Tony, the owner of Epic Media, and Tihan, the affiliate manager of dr.cash. As you know from the title, this video is a case study from the Epic Media team on the same offer. A few months ago, there was another great case study. You can find out more in this video. Tony will now share some secrets about how to get maximum value from the offer. But before I hand over, please subscribe to our channel and like this video. Ready? Tony, on to you. Hi guys, to all newbies and savvy users. Why have we chosen this topic? Very often we come across cases from various sources with profits of $2,000, $3,000 and even $5,000, and we wonder, how can we drive higher profits? Why does someone bring in $150,000 while another levels out at just $3,000? This is what we're going to talk about in detail. The case study will be on Keitaro, which we also covered 2 or 3 weeks back. In the last case study, I think we targeted $8,000. So why have we decided to return to it and finish it? And how did all of this happen at all? Our traffic source is Facebook. Then we went another 2 months at $34,000. With a pretty good ROI, considering all the crackdowns, almost 80%. And here's the proof, a CPA network screenshot. Tihan sitting there happy as Larry, he's already seen the results. The consumables we used are anti-detect browser. It could be any, but we've been using Octo for ages. That's not a recommendation. There are many good ones, but we use Octo. Accounts. Here we took our farm with a King account. I'll fill you in more later. Then SOFTREGs were often added. We tested the UK and the US, various countries, but we settled on Poland because they lasted the longest. Why? I don't know, but it works. It's not just made up, it's been tried and tested. We used regular banks for the payment service. I know there are heaps of good payrolls. You can use them if you don't trust money mules and on the like. But here they worked great because we exceeded the budget. We paid for holds. Yes, there was a problem there. But who goes for budget is no problem for them. Holds are refundable for up to 2 weeks. We used mobile proxies. The Geo proxy must match the Geo of King accounts. This is a must in the very rare event that you meet various checkpoints. Then there is much lower chance of bans. We took domains with no history, such as .com, za.com, and .online. Domains from $2 to $15. Why do we take domains without history? Because very often in the history at first sight all looks good, but unfortunately they have short lifespans, because not all the history is displayed, so various bans may have been in place before. And when you get a new clean domain, first you'll think of a unique name, and a lot depends on that too. Some people think something like abc.com has low attention, but it's not true. People evolve and very often pay attention to such names. For cloaking, we used Keitaro, TDS, and IMKLO check filters, which I'll talk about later. And white pages I indicated on the sites from Google slide, it seems pretty trivial, but it's worth taking seriously. I'll now break down why it's important to take white pages seriously. As we're dealing with diabetes now, you can simply Google diabetes. Unload one page of a website, run it, and bypass the system. And now you're sitting there scratching your head and thinking, why does everyone else achieve it and what's wrong with me? Or there are micro spends and so on. This is a very important point. The white should be very similar to the creative which you're driving traffic at. Or just use text from the white. This is also a very common variant of driving traffic. When we take a creative that says roughly lose weight, free yourself of diabetes, free yourself of health problems. But in ad text, we enter the opening line from the white. It's important, it works, it fits. The white has to be used unconventionally. So if we drive creatives, we'll discuss them later, where you specify the offer as in Keitaro. You need this offer on your white. There must be a requisition form on it. Let's think logically. We drive the conversion, we get leads, but the white has no requisition form. So where do the leads come from? Why should our advertising work? If a live moderator comes in, they understand that there's a cloak. And don't forget to include information on the white. Phone number, address, something that adds trust to official websites. Again, this information is not made up. It's not a waste of time. It has been tested at the expense of good whites. Later, I'll show you screenshots from advertising campaigns that drive $2,000, $3,000, $5,000. I've heard it all. It doesn't work. $200 max. No optimization. No, guys, with the right approach, you'll always get good results. You just have to get a little more involved and take a more responsible approach. Sometimes it's easy to make a knockout launch, but unfortunately, things always improve. Moderators are improving, so we need to improve ourselves too. Now we're going to talk about creatives. For me, this is an amazing moment. I still don't understand everyday psychology. You see the most trivial images on creatives. A lemon, some incomprehensible teas, some guy with jars. The question is, how does this convert? The point is that a creative is clickable. How do we make it more clickable? You see a red circle, for example, the first or the third. Some kind of call to action, something to pay attention to and focus on. And they start reading. The text says, "Free yourself in 7 days. Get cured, etc." So the person clicks. We took various approaches. For example, let's say you take some celebrity and combine it with a product on the creative. Everything almost makes sense. Everything is cool, but there is no result. And then you put the usual jars, the teaser approach that has worked for 10 years and will work for another 100 years, and it goes and you sit back and scratch your head why. I can't explain exactly, but it's time-tested on more than $1,000. 70% of the entries are teaser approaches. Sure, we had a cool case where the approach with the celebrity worked and there was a celebrity on the creative. It added trust. But this only works with a very competent approach. And then a funnel worked because the leads were cheap, but clicks were more expensive. The conversion was already better there. So for the creatives, use a direct approach that works from year to year. We tested a huge number of landing pages. Here are the ones that worked for us. We used a trivial medical approach because that's our offer. If we were working with weight loss or potency, different variations can work, such as a porn approach to potency, disregarding the prostate, but talking about increasing plus improving erections. With weight loss, you can just use before and after pictures. But the diabetes audience is mostly 45 plus years old. And they read the news. So it's all corny, and this shiny approach doesn't earn trust anymore. On every page, the headline should be in bold. It's important. This captures attention and encourages to read on. We used different various people. A Japanese doctor, a man, a woman. Most importantly, don't take people from the geographical area that you're targeting. So if Poland and you're using President Duda's image, for example, well, first, Tihin will refuse to pay you money because such image use is forbidden. Secondly, people will recognize him and the audience's sympathy or antipathy will come into play, with some against him and others for. But when we take someone that people don't know as a person who just got better, landing page, a gray-haired man with glasses, is just a story from a man who suffered from a problem. So was the woman. And the third one, a Japanese guy. He was a super healer who developed a famous drug. We tested the 3 landing page formula for one campaign at Keitaro TDS. You can bet 33% each of the ways. That is, every first click goes to the first landing page, the second click to the second, and the third to the third. You get how this works. Each click alternates. For about $300 to $400, you see we have 30 leads with a Japanese guy, 10 with a man, and 2 with a woman. So we understand that on volume, our audience is attracted by the doctor. And I'm not just talking about this doctor. He's just been driving for the longest time. After all the tests, this doctor already drove about $25,000 of traffic. People liked him throughout the huge number of tests, meaning what I'm showing now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is not all the landing pages that we tested. There were about 15 to 20. And on the landing page, we always add a separate inset. The studies revealed that you should continue using insulin until the course is completed, and have it checked by your physician as well. Translated into Geo accordingly, first I was asked, does it make the conversion drop? Well, if it falls, it drops it mostly by 0.1%. Secondly, it's important for the call center, it's important for us, because we know that the disease is serious, and those drugs work as vitamins in 99% of cases. A person may feel an improvement, but they should not stop using insulin right away. That's an important point, as if to absolve your karma. Now we're getting to driving. I will start by saying why we continue this offer, why we stopped it, and why we recontinued it. You'll remember that the case stopped at $8,000 because traffic was starting to get very expensive. Why? Not just because you had a burned-out offer. First of all, everyone's favorite fraudsters came and scored an auction, so CPM was enormous, while leadings were 10 times more expensive. Secondly, it might be some kind of holiday, such as Ramadan in Arabian countries. During this period, people order much less, and statistics may worsen. Maybe some offers will improve, others may worsen, but there will be an impact. The same goes for the geopolitical situation. Thirdly, maybe you've burned out your landing page. Nutra is a vertical where one creative and one landing page will not meet $100,000 to $150,000. We need to continually improve and create something unique. So we launched, had a look, and generally there was a result for the month of 3 to 4x more leads. So the buyer says, no, let's stop here, let's do something else. That time we drove, I think, 100% ROI. Great driving, everything's great, let's look for something else. That's it. We continued driving and also looked around for something new. We saw that the offer was good, it was going well, Geo was not small, and we understood that our problem was probably not in the offer. The problem was either in those moments that I have analyzed, or in a bunch of other things that you should also understand. There is a huge number of reasons for that. The team leader and I discussed it and decided to try again. We left the landing pages that we had, about 8. We chose the best to drive more and optimize them. Optimization exists, and I will talk about it when I show you screenshots from an advertising campaign. I often hear that Facebook is dead, that optimization is dead, everything is bad, you can drive maximum $100 and then everything goes downhill and an account is caught, but it's not so. Now for the driving. We were driving through a King account and SOFTREGs. Guys often drove just a King and 2 business managers, but we didn't feel any big difference, so we drove from SOFTREG because it was much more convenient to keep track of ads. We had probably 10 to 15% of bans, so we soon drove everything very well. Probably 40% of accounts were caught, but again, because we came to Tihin, who initially gave us a very good offer. This is a fresh offer, relatively fresh in the sense that it is a freebie. In Europe, a free version is not as widespread. It's gathering pace now, so call centers are also improving by being optimized for people and the product. But then, almost no one had heard about free stuff. Experienced people who drive Nutra knew it and tested it out, of course, but they were very skeptical. Why? As the first screen showed, we had an approval of 19%. Tihin, please tell me, what's the approval at full price in Europe? Looking at Glycotrol specifically, the average approval there is about 40%. 40%? Why would a person who has never driven take an offer which is twice as bad as an approval? Let's say someone right now thinks like this, a buyer, a team leader, etc. And because it's all something new, it has to run better, easier, and be more interesting. So when Tihin offered us this deal, we said yes right away. I think that's where we started our cooperation with dr.cash. We started with this offer, and yeah, it was really attractive, because it was something new. It's a transition of the CIS approach to Europe, which will continue to gather pace. I know you still have low-price offers in dr.cash for Europe right now. Sure, that's right. In general, many offers. Register in dr.cash, write your managers, give us something interesting. I think you're happy to provide everything, right? Of course. Great. Let's get back on topic. We launched SOFTREGs, now we're going to figure out cloaking. With the right approach, about 80% of our accounts lived and were not banned. Now, I'll show you how we set up a cloak in Keitaro TDS. You don't have to buy IMKLO. Let's start by saying that you should understand CLOAK. You always lose 15 to 20% of your traffic, but then your accounts live longer. Why? Because people click. But Keitaro filters think that they are bots and show them our white page, and we lose a potential client. It's frustrating, it's sad, why do we need it? We need it to drive as much as possible and optimize our ads as well. So if you look here, you can clearly see that in Keitaro we have white page first. Flow type forced. The first thing we do is IMKLO's checking for white page. IMKLO has its own filters, its own bot base, and own managers or moderator base that IMKLO checks. Then we use web proxies, which are mostly used either by publishers who want to break through your cloak and see, or bots. Regular people use regular static internet. Next, checking for bots. These are filters in Keitaro. And we combine both IMKLO and Keitaro filters. And then we see the connection type unknown. So if you type "what's my IP" into Google, you'll see your connection and location. If this information is not shown, someone logs in from an unknown IP address. Why isn't it a bot or a moderator? In 99% of cases, if it's a living person, when you write "show me my IP," you can see the provider and location. It's public information. If this info is blank, then it's a bot. After that, we go to black, and there is also white, the flow type default at the bottom. If Tihin followed the link, It's not in the base IMKLO, it doesn't have a web proxy, it's not a bot, it's not in the filters, and yet there's an exception for Poland. Or someone else enters from outside Poland, let's say Romania, then of course he won't be shown that. So Tihin came past all that and he's shown black. Why do we have a closing postcut page? There's a huge number of components that also have an effect. A person may be from Poland, they may have a normal internet connection, pass bot checks, but let's say they don't have cookies. In 99% of cases, the person has a huge database of cookies. Absence of cookies can be due to having a new phone, and then when they go straight to their Gmail, all the cookies are updated. So if someone comes in without cookies, it's a maybe 99% probability that it's a bot, and another 1% that it's a publisher who has created a new profile in an anonymous browser without cookies and thinks, but I'll go through the cloak, I took a proxy of Geo and everything will work for me. Now let's see what these guys are driving on. So we filter them out too. There are numerous other variations. This is a working method. If you don't have IMKLO, you do the same thing but without the IMKLO check. 80% of our accounts live a long time without bans, and they only stop because they could become expensive. This is all about the cloak. Here are the screenshots from advertising campaigns. This is not Photoshop. Here we spent $1,000, 1.05 per lead. We're up to about 1,000 leads here. Here it eventually became more expensive, $1.5 thousand, $2.59 per lead, and here $800, 1.37 per lead. These are the accounts that are left and the guys haven't deleted. So here are 3 ad campaigns where we've spent $4,000. Just 3 campaigns. Leah Kelly, Karina Grishina, and Wilhelmina Thomas. So, the usual soft regs on King accounts. So who says that soft regs for 15 to 25 cents don't work? Everything works fine if you have a well-farmed King account, if advertising access reinstated and passed the ban on the advertising activities fund page, everything is fine. Drive it up, do the right white, and spend $5,000 to $10,000 from one account. Hey Tony, please tell us in a little more detail about Kings and SOFTREGs for the newbies watching. Let's ask ourselves some questions. What's an account's credibility? If we take our social account, Tihin, Roma, Tony, where we were, constantly corresponding and maintaining some activities, naturally we have cookies and interests there. It's important. I mean, you go to Facebook or Instagram and type in Mercedes. And then, for a week, you get all these posts of Mercedes. And you're sitting there saying, damn, I want a Mercedes, what can I do? That's how interests work, so trust works accordingly. Here we show activity. Here such accounts are called farm, as well as King accounts. These are accounts to which we add soft regs, accounts with high trust, which will not be banned at the first opportunity. When you just go to the account and it already goes through the checkpoint. They usually go from 14 days of farming. If it's a good account, it's everyday farm. Clicked, watched a video, so we need to take the same actions if you farm an account as an average user would. Here, you get a good King account. It's always added to one static proxy, then transferred to a mobile proxy, and we take the geo to which the account belongs. Here we get a good farmed King account. It's often easy to create BMs on them. There are many tricks how to create a huge number of BMs through your Instagram page. There are even ways to create 10 to 15 or even 20 BMs on one King. To summarize, a King account is a good, farmed account where there is trust, where actions have been taken like a normal user, so Facebook won't see that we're publishers. What are SOFTREGs? These are the cheapest accounts, one of the cheapest depending on geo. They can be created either by hand quickly via SMS activate conditional, or in general. Here we have a bot creating a special script, a special XenoLab app. The farm department creates these accounts, you just insert the links into the script, it picks up the IP, takes a proxy where you buy proxies, or a mobile proxy, it just updates it. Here it creates an account, the minimum activity is to add a photo, add 5 friends, 1 day of sleeping, meaning no trust in them. So when someone says, I bought an account for 15 cents, drove it in, but it doesn't work, I was cheated, it's not true. You have to understand that the trust of an account is everything. 95% of driving depends on trust, because you may have a wonderful white, you may have an awesome creative, which in general should not be banned, but you have never-ending checkpoints, you have eternal bans, and you sit there and go crazy. Driving with a SOFTREG is possible, so if Facebook isn't tightening the screws, we're all fine. Tihan only has time to count money, many leads are building up, but this happens twice a year and lasts for weeks. So you need a more responsible approach. You can add these SOFTREGs to BM as well as to private messages. We did it in BM, by the way. It worked better for us when we took BM to 50, added SOFTREGs to them, and after we spent a certain amount, the account limit also became 250. That's how much per day we can spend on advertising. I think I've explained everything more or less clearly. To summarize, the King account is the one you trust, and to which we'll link accounts. And SOFTREGs are ordinary, quickly created accounts without trust for quick driving. Why do we use them? If a SOFTREG is bad or banned, we get rid of it and use a new one. Consequently, we don't lose a huge amount of money on accounts that are bad or banned. We just unlink it, say goodbye and create a new one, so we also don't lose much on accounts. I think you get that. An account which was clicked every day for 14 days taking 2 hours, your own physical SIM card, static good proxy, isn't going to cost only $2 or $3. Our SIM card is $2. The price of a good farmed account is $15 minimum. That's a normal good account.
Я знаю, что вот у моего друга, у Владер, я думаю, видели, у него по $10 мы тоже использовали хорошие аки. Это такая маленькая реклама, но мы не договаривались. Правда хорошие. Это те, которые мы брали еще тоже. Вот. Поэтому здесь вы можете брать аккаунты Кинги. Опять-таки, тест.
You also need to test here, because a $10 account can be good and a $50 account could fail. Each seller sets a different price. For the test, 5 King accounts are enough for you to link to 9 SOFTREGs. Our guys link up to 5. Test. And in a day or two you will see the difference and understand which accounts performed best. I think I've answered the question. Tihan, what do you think? That was pretty cool.
Тони, у меня еще вопрос тогда по всему, что ты выше озвучил. Я их записал. С радостью отвечу. Ага.
Tony, about cloaks. Can you please tell beginners our varieties and our approaches? Firstly, it's important to understand cloaking. I've already explained how it works. When a live moderator comes in, he's redirected through a script to our white page. There is another way to cloak. We've been driving a lot of very successful cases. For example, Nutra and crypto through Google sites and Canva as pre-landing pages. Why does it work well and convert? Why do we rarely get accounts banned? For the simple reason that we perform the most trivial preloading. We take a Google site, Tilde, Amazon, etc., and we set a trivial text with a question such as, "Are you 18? Or, "Are you from Poland?" In Polish, of course. So when a live moderator comes to us, they see one page where they can click either yes or no. So they know that a conversion can take place. And after that, a person goes to the website, so we lose less traffic because filters don't work. And a person goes to the website. But even if we use a pre-lander, we often add filters to the link, and then of course we lose 10% of our traffic. But then people enter with a certain interest. It all depends what question you ask. We even had a case where we set a regular check. As you know, checking with pictures. A person selects 3 dogs out of 9 pictures and are redirected to the site. The moderator does the same and are moved to the white. You need to approach this in a way so that when checked by a live moderator, they mustn't see any reasons to ban us. Here we can use the IMKLO CLOAK itself, and for this we add our domain to the server. We can just use Keitaro. There are various services, Zeus for cloaking, and there are lots. If I start listing them now, it's a huge number. There are Keitaro filters and there are pre-landers. Why do I pay a lot of attention to them? Because they work very well. We lose a little bit of traffic, but we have a long-lived accounts, and it's a lot easier for a newbie to handle it all. Let's break it down. Zeus costs about $850 a month for the max version, or about $350 for a lower version. A newbie comes and thinks, okay, I need an anti-detection browser, 100. It's not for a trial period, but for normal, full-fledged use. Then they look through accounts, $15, also CLOAK, also proxy, all these consumables that must be bought. But we can still limit ourselves here. Let's see if we take consumables. How can we make them cheaper? To pick up and share its internet connection. If you know, you understand that the mobile internet, when you choose air mode and then turn the network back on, the IP address changes immediately. It's not static, it's mobile. Okay, here the consumables are saved. Then the CLOAK. A good CLOAK costs from $300. Then we put a pre-lander, so the probability that we will be banned is not 2 or 3 times less, but almost 5 to 7 times less. So about 30% of our accounts will be off, and we haven't spent money on the CLOAK. Anti-detect browser, there are a lot of trials and so on. Newcomers can also click, work there. There are options how to save money, but when we're talking globally, the best and easiest way to save money is on the CLOAK itself. That is to use a pre-lander, the right and good one. Perhaps even indicate the application form on the lander. Maybe not the phone number and name, you can just put the name. The person enters it, the moderator thinks, that's it, the person left a request, and in fact, when you click on the button, they move to our web page. There are different kinds of cloaking. For beginners, an awesome way to try is Canva, which is free, Google sites which are free, and do your own coding. You don't have to sit around thinking, geez, how do I write a code? These are all assemblers, where you just have to click a couple of buttons, add a block, add pictures, and add text. This is a cool option which I really advise all beginners. Anyone who doesn't understand the CLOAK, who are scared of it, take a Google site, do a trivial question like, are you from this geo? How old are you? Bypass CAPTCHA, etc., and put yes, no. You see, we ask an easy question, there is no need to emphasize this. We just need to attract attention. If we make a huge pre-lander, the person reads it for 10 minutes and thinks, what am I doing here? How did I end up here? This should be a light pre-lander where the person clicks, goes to our site and leaves a request. So when we're talking about beginners, the pre-lander is one of the best options. I recommend Google site. Canva doesn't work well recently. Thanks for the detailed answer, Tony. One more question. You mentioned consumables. How can a person with no experience buy good ones and steer clear of duds? My main advice is good communication. Unfortunately, no one will give you a fully functional funnel. But if someone does, then please contact me directly. We're happy to drive in. But globally, the affiliate marketing community is very friendly. You just go into a chat room and enter chats. For example, "Hey guys, I'm a newbie, no scam and other things. Please tell me where and what consumables you buy. What's the normal price?" You write to 20 groups and get 50 options, even though 50 is a lot. 10 are enough. Then you look at the reviews. You like some product. You copy the link and search and watch on Telegram. If it's a scam, you just write so-and-so nickname and scam, that's all. Here you can avoid a scam. But how to choose the best product? Now that's a different ballgame, because every seller will say, "Nobody has better than me. They have a 14-day farm and I have 144. So you have to test. But more often than not, as we did, as any publisher does, not only beginners, any experienced publisher looking for any accounts will simply ask questions. Many chat rooms will normally and calmly answer and advise, and you'll find that one account without spending as much as us. As a team, we can spend $300 to $400 on consumables, no problem. But once we find ones that work, we know that we'll drive $10,000 to $20,000 or $30,000 with them. To keep costs low, newcomers just need to enter a chat room and ask. Of course, don't trust the first hookup. Read the chat before in the group to find out whether it's a good seller. So you find a good account through communication. I'm sure you also attend conferences. Connections and communication bring very good results. You can find lots of information on Google, but it won't provide the benefits that you can get from human communication. So go into chat rooms, write, find out, and search. It will save you a lot of money, and you'll find the account you need. And you might have a heap of other questions answered too. Some may laugh and say, "Stop, don't come in. Affiliate marketing is dead. It's bad, don't." But I think that even affiliate managers in Tihin can ask their publishers and their teams who drive it. Some team will provide a good solution and will text back. So text, Telegram, talk to your manager. I hadn't initially thought about the manager, but the manager can really help. Any inputs, Tihin? Sure. I find out everything about payment services, cloaks, and accounts. That's a really good solution. The CPA Network Manager wants you to drive the traffic. It's the win-win concept. You earn and your manager earns, and the CPA Network and advertiser earn. So write to the groups or your manager to find out and prompt. You'll save a lot of money on tests doing this. This is such a great tip to help beginner publishers. Please write in. Tihin will answer all questions. Tony, another question. How many affiliate market groups on Telegram are you a member of? And how many do you follow and contribute to? Well, we have our own personal Telegram channel, where we often display information. My nickname is there, so guys can write to me and ask about consumables as well. How many chats? I get spooked sometimes. I often just flip through messages. It's pretty regular. Which ones am I active on? We have 2 private chats. They're not so expensive and there's lots of cool information. We share openly all the time. No one gives anyone a full funnel, but you can get information about driving, accounts, and consumables. And somewhere probably 3 to 4 chats, which are open and not private, where we also communicate, constantly leading activity. And it's not just me, but also my team. We communicate because this is important. I'm talking about chats with 10,000 plus subscribers where there is a normal level of activity. Not just some guys who have logged in with 80 recent messages, some kind of spam, but who really talk about normal topics. You can write to me and I will send them from here to not advertise. I'll send really valuable chats with normal, useful information. Okay, thanks Tony. In the description, there will be links to Tony's group and the Dr.cash group. And that's a must. If you haven't already signed up, we know where you live. This is not a negotiation, you should sign up. We have lots of useful information. Sign up is a must, both for the numbers and because we put out a lot of useful information. At Dr.cash, you can see the current offers. You go there, see, let's say, 10 offers. Choose 2 interesting ones and write to Tihin for advice on the driving and creatives. Our channel also has a lot of information about driving and a lot of jokes I publish all the time. Subscribing to the group is a big plus. Even if you add another group in your list, you'll get so much valuable information. You'll be super happy. And if you don't like it, just unsubscribe. But don't unsubscribe from Dr.cash. They always have the latest info. You can unsubscribe from us, but I might get really upset. Tony, thanks for your comprehensive answer. I have another question about white page. How much does a properly designed white affect account longevity? As I said before, this is a critical issue. If you cloak and not preload, it's really critical. You're not going to make any good profits because you just can't spend from one account. You're going to have a $30 spend. If it's geo of something like France, where the leads are $25 each, at best you're going to get 1 lead. That's the best case scenario. So Nutra is the kind of vertical that has to drive in for a long period, where you come up with a good funnel, match everything up, and get results in the long term. If you go back to our advertising cabinet screenshots, for about $1,000 we got 1,000 leads. Nutra's account has lived so long not due to diabetes, but thanks to the properly chosen white. So we avoided bans, and optimization has already kicked in. Very often, if geo is cheap, we drive in about 7 to 10 approves. So we know that we have an approximate cost of $10, and for $100, we spent the account at 0 and minus for optimization. Of course, it works because it's not made up. It is proven in practice. We do it all the time and it works for us. So here, the right white helps you make the most out of the funnel. And it's much easier to work with fewer accounts. And it's a lot more fun that way, because when you're driving just 100 accounts a day but ad fraud, it's not affiliate marketing traffic. This is systematic work, which if something doesn't work, you no longer work. It turns out that seemingly ordinary white helps us solve a huge number of problems at once, and earns a lot more than we would earn if we allowed things to slide. Let's say that if a person is negligent, the result will not make them happy, and then they will think that affiliate marketing is a fraud. Just a pretty picture. Look, affiliate traffic is a job that must be taken seriously. If you make a good quality white, you benefit from it. The longevity of the account, you benefit, because you're being optimized for your advertising. Plus, you see how it all works. So you can play around with targeting, you can duplicate ads, etc. Why will it work for you? Because you won't get banned, because you have a good wipe. This is a very important point that you have to take really seriously. You win because of this. Great answer, Tony. Here's a question about cloaking. You probably have some kind of filter setup that you use during cloaking. How often do you use a browser language filter? 90% of the time, but it depends on geo. If we take the screenshots I showed, there is no filter. Do you mean the language setting of a person's device? Yes, devices, including the browser. If a person speaks Romanian and goes to Poland, they probably don't need to show this prelander. Yeah, correct. We often put such a filter, but it depends on geo. In Bahrain, 80% of the population speaks English. When you take an offer from Tihin or some geos, you need to read about these geos. In Poland, around 20% of the population speaks English. So a small audience using non-native language. So it's even better if we put language restrictions in Poland. But not in Bahrain, because people speak English fluently. And there are plenty of such countries, Lithuania and Latvia, where there are many Russian speakers, English speakers, and native speakers. The native language is the geo language to which we drive traffic. It all comes down to the choice of geo where we're driving traffic. So let's read, figure it out, and act. Yeah, ask the manager what languages are spoken in this geo. It's a must. If you communicate well with your manager, you will always be profitable. Just ask normal questions. Sometimes a newbie comes and says, "Give me a funnel, give me a creative, drive advertising for me, and I'll create a wallet to withdraw money." Well, we're all into kind-hearted fun, but that alone won't get you anywhere. But ask the right questions of any manager, and at least Dr. Cash will give advice, and ideas, and help. Say out loud, "I'm a newbie." It's okay. We were all newbies once and didn't understand much. Ask proper, normal questions, and you'll get answers. 100%. Will always help. Sure. Tony, you touched on geo. Why did you choose Poland? And how did you make the switch to another geo? With the same offer? Yeah, with the same offer to another geo. So the reason why we chose Poland, once again, thanks to Tihin. We started with this offer, we registered, we started communicating, and we had trivial questions like everyone else. What drives traffic? What's interesting? What's new? What can you offer? We were given a list, and Tihin emphasized that this is a new version of the sale, because it's free. He offered, I think, 3 options of geo, and we settled on Poland, because as Tihin said, there it works best. And when we click, it's such a global issue because this offer has 5 to 6 more geos. Right, Tihin? Well, I know 3 for sure, and we're planning to move to others, yes. Cool. So, you have to understand, when we move to another country, to another geo, the funnel that worked for you in Poland may not work in Germany. But this is an advantage. If the offer proved itself in one geo in Europe, then it could work well in another European country, in another geo. Which means that it all depends on the call center, if it can efficiently process, but as far as I know, your call centers are good. So this offer, if you've already driven it well, can be taken and tested. Test it on another geo. We understand that the offer works, it's beautiful, colorful. There are no problems with OTR, order-to-trade ratio, it's great. Everything to drive this offer on another geo. And here we have a pretty standard approach. If it's working on one geo, it means that the offer is good. It converts. Then it all depends on your funnel. Unfortunately, the lander that worked for us in Poland doesn't work in another geo. What a drag. Because if it worked, it'd be great. If it performed well in one geo, you can confidently use an offer on another geo. At least for the Asia, Europe, CIS, etc. audience. It can be that it works well in one geo but not in another, and that's quite rare. If the audience welcomed it in Europe, then in Poland, Germany, Romania, etc., it will also work well. Just take a competent approach to driving to achieve results. Thanks, Tony. Now, here's a useful question for beginner publishers. How much money does a solo publisher need to find a working funnel? And another question is, how much money did you spend when looking for a working funnel? Cool question. Look, I can't say exactly how much a newbie publisher needs, but I can summarize it. After all, the question is not just about money, the question is also about your approach. Someone can invest $3,000 and fail to find anything at all, while actually $1,000 will be recouped and $2,000 will be in minus, and someone else can get a result for just $400. What kind of consumables do we have? I mean, what's important? Octo, anti-detection browser, has a trial of up to 10 profiles for free. About accounts, as we said, ask Tihin and he will find out. So if we take this driving, one account for 8 drivings will cost about $20. The newbie takes the card and links to payment. Proxies, take your phone. Give away the domains. You can look for them now, they're sold for 30 to 40 cents. And you even give domains in the CP8 network, right, Tihin? Yeah, of course. In general, it's great. Here we can save money. With cloaking, the same whites, everything for free too. And we'll have an expense on the budget and on the account. For complete beginners without big budgets, it's clear that as we grow, to drive there from $3,000 to $5,000, we'll need a lot more consumables. But initially, to reduce them. Here, the question is which geo is better to start. I always tell newbies to start with the cheapest geo. Because with an expensive geo, the cost of a lead will be much higher, and the search for a link will cost much more. Let's look, for example, at Uzbekistan, where leads go for $1. So with just $150 to $200, we can understand how the audience works and how to start driving towards a plus. But again, money is great. If someone thinks I have $10,000, I'll start and it will be awesome. Guys, communication. Communicate with your manager. Affiliate marketing is not just pressing the money button and you win. There are many external factors. You need a good understanding of what you're doing. And that's why a beginner with just $200 can successfully start driving traffic and earning from $500 a month. I'm not saying that a newbie with $200 will start earning $10,000 a month right away. There's no quick fix. Don't count on it. If someone achieved it, then I'm super happy for them, but it doesn't work like that. but it is really possible to start earning at least the average salary in the CIS. That is from $300 to $500. And it's not a repetitive work where you stagnate. Affiliate marketing is interesting. You have to think a lot there. There are a lot of sources. It's easier for beginners to start with Facebook. There's a lot of information and it's interesting. I'm getting a bit carried away. Generally, $200 for a beginner to try to earn is quite enough. Then you add money from the CPA network, let's say $200, you earn $300, you drive $300 and earn $500, so at the end of the month you analyze it. On a weekly basis you invested, let's say $700 and then you earned $1,100, so you got $400 plus. Cool, that's cool. And I sat in front of my laptop and thought up something of my own, came up with some cool ideas. Awesome, interesting. So I think that generally $200 to start is fine. Well, the more the better. There is free traffic in general. With TikTok, you upload a video and add a link to highly viewed videos, and that's it. But for Facebook, $200. And now to how much money you spent when seeking lenders. Probably something around $1,500. But then again, guys, what's $1,500? We spent $1,500 on advertising, and we had requests that were confirmed. We even got about 500 to 700 plus. That doesn't mean we took 1,500, threw it away, and have no idea where it is. We had a bunch of landers. It's not a small geo, it's not the cheapest geo. It's understandable that we spent more than $100 or $200, but this is what paid off. Some funnels had 100% ROI, others only 20%. So we spent somewhere around $1,500 on the driving off budget. Great. And what if? The offer stops converting after a few days, or doesn't convert at all. Regarding the first question, I'd say that this is a common problem. A friend wrote to me recently, "Tell me what to do. In the first 2 or 3 days I drive in plus and then everything stops." Guys, there are many external factors affecting this. Here's how the Facebook audience works. Let's take Poland. Today your ad is shown in Wrocław. In an hour, it's shown in Warsaw. In 3 hours, it's shown in Krakow. It found an audience here, it found an audience there, and the next day the audience was refreshed. It didn't hit the right audience, and you think what to do. Then we often either hold on, if it got a plus before, wait for 1 day, and watch the next day. Or we stop completely and look the next day. So the question here is how it is optimized. Optimization works internally, so we wait and see. If there is no money to watch, stop advertising. For 1 day you won't lose anything. Turn it on the next day. During this time, launch a couple of new creatives. It's a common problem that in the beginning, we don't even have 2 or 3 days. But the first $50 we spent quickly, and then all the audience is lost. Just wait, let it optimize. Maybe it doesn't optimize because of tests, but mostly stop it if it's a small sum, and then launch the next day. It's better to wait a day. No one will punish for that. Rather than to just throw away an account that works, converts, and is a consumable. Guys, give optimization a try. To use either money or time, and then you will have your result. If neither works, okay. You use 1 or 2 days, you see it, and then you go to Tihin. Damn, the offer doesn't convert. Give us something interesting. And he'll reply, okay, I'll give you something new, and you test it. And not just beginners are given some specific offers. They are given those that work well, because Tihin looks in the CPA network, sees that every day they drive thousands of these offers, Geo is cheap, the offer drives, the publisher is asked to expand CAPTCHA driving a plus, then he provides newcomers with offers that don't need more than 100 leading CAPTCHAs. They don't pressurize any big teams, but then they learn how to drive. Unless, of course, it converts at least $300 to $400 spent completely. We always test 2 or 3 offers. At least 2. It may happen when the leads are about the same, but one approve is 40% and the second 30%. And you know that on these volumes 10% is a huge amount. Try to test a few. But if you can't, then drive in a little and ask your manager. Tony, that's great. Thanks for the clear answer. Awesome info. I want to remind all our viewers that you can ask questions in the comments. We'll answer below, or in subsequent videos or live broadcasts. Learn about upcoming streams in the group and in Dr. Cash's chat. I'll leave links in the description. And remember to subscribe to our channel. Yes, be sure to subscribe. You'll learn a lot of interesting and new things. How did you improve the approve when the funnel was working? We firstly asked for feedback from Tihin. So we have to work with the call center as well. That means that after we have chosen some kind of lander, we send it to the call center for proofreading. And the call center team leaders pass this information on to the operators. This connection works so the operator understands what the client requested and what's on the lander. So they understand the best way to sell. Meaning we send our lander, and Tihin also says what clients are unhappy with. It often happened that he wrote, "Remove it from the lander." It annoys people and they refuse, and it's harder for operators to sell. We already started interacting with the call center and the advertiser, and consequently everything is through Tihin. He prompts us, helps us, has us proofread it, and finds out the problems. What should be removed, added, what people like or not. So we increase their proof. And this is not a joke. Really, by 5 to 7%. Send the manager your lander. They won't give it to anyone, only to the call center, and that's all. Hand to God, guys. Don't give it to anyone, it's all true. Did you cross your fingers? Traitor. So, Tihin is the most important person in your team. Well, look at the added value of proper interaction with the manager. We have it in all of our CP8 networks, it's important. When you interact with your manager correctly, you'll always have better profits, that's a fact, that's money. You learn more if you communicate well with your manager, because they will guide you. They work to make everyone earn, to improve the approve, to have more traffic, to drive the offer well. So yeah, that's a very important point. A manager doesn't just write me something and I ignore it and that's it. It's crucial. This communication makes you money. Yes, when both sides are profit-oriented, they both will have a profit. But if the publisher came just to pick up an offer and drive a funnel off quietly, silently, well, it doesn't work for long. It's always better to communicate and devise some tricks. If not from the manager, then from the publisher. And if the publisher is stumped, then the manager can step in, so always communicate. Tony, another question for beginners, a very useful one. How would you recommend approaching the selection of partners? What are the criteria, etc.? Guys, if we took 3 CPA networks and one of them has the highest payout, it doesn't mean that this is the best CPA network. The biggest payouts don't always mean the best quality. You always have to listen to your manager's communication. If they say, pay what you want, or go to the tab offers and drive how you want, then it's rather a devil-may-care dysfunctional attitude. Reviews can also help. Even before I started working with Dr.cash, I read a lot of positive reviews. This is a fact. They can all be found on Google. And, of course, also the communication in chats. Just write, guys advise me a CPA network. And when newbies write, I quite often see that they've been recommended Dr.cash, which is a positive sign. You can just write, guys, please advise me. I want to drive Nutra. I've watched a lot of videos, I pretty much understand how the audience works, please recommend quality CPA network companies to avoid trash, etc. There is trash around, although such should not have been approved. And we have come across CPA networks with different problems. You write to 3 CPA networks, they answer, and you ask why, and you will get good explanations. Good manager, good payouts, good approve. The call center works longer. Some call centers are open from 12 to 5 p.m. and others from 12 a.m. to 7 a.m. And some have lower approve. Let's say $2 to $3. But you have a percentage of confirmation that will be 10% higher. And here, just do simple math on your mobile and work it out. That's all. So ask here, look on the internet, talk to the manager, and you will immediately understand which CPA network is good. I also made a selection in our Epic Media chat. Your CPA network is in the first place. There you can check out a selection of the 5 CPA networks that we work with. I wrote out the pros, so you can go read and choose a CPA network. Thanks for the answer, Tony. Back on the topic, we don't have much time left. I do have a couple of questions. How do spy services help buyers and how do you use them properly? Oh, cool question. There are various spy services. The easiest, most affordable, and cheapest is AdHeart. But cheapest does not mean the worst. In general, the cheapest is Facebook data. But AdHeart is specifically a spy service to see more information. First, a huge advantage is that you can see how much and what is driving in the last week, for example on this geo. And you can see what this team is driving more, so you can understand which creatives work. It has the time it takes to drive this creative. Somewhere 1 day, elsewhere 10 days. But I think you understand that no one will pay nothing for 10 days. Of course, this approach works. But a spy service can also do some harm, because lazy people can think, I took the picture, I took the creative, I took the lander, launched, drove it, damn, it doesn't work, and they have 10 days of conversion. Guys, with a spy service, most importantly, we can understand what geo approach works, period. So when you steal someone else's funnel, 97% of the time it won't work, because it's already been used. Spy services can't show all the ads that are driving in. They show about 30 to 40% of the ads. But if somewhere you see that it's been driving for 10 days, it's likely that a month ago it was driving the same thing, and you have to watch and check that too. You can take a funnel, which I'm showing you now, but your leads for $1 will not work. If they do, I'll be happy for you, it'll be cool. But in 99% of cases it won't work. So you just have to approach it wisely to understand how geo reacts to creatives, to then know what you have to show people. That's why spy services are top. We always check them before we start working with some geo. Facebook, free data, AdHeart, and everything. We understand how to work. We look through the CLOAK. We look at what lands work best. We understand what lands we need to do approximately. So a spy service is cool, but they won't do the job for you. You understand how the audience works, what it converts, what works, and do similar stuff. One-to-one variant will not work, so spy services are cool, but approach it wisely. That's great. Tony, we all love you for such detailed answers. Our love and respect. Here comes the final question. You work mostly with CPA networks and less with direct advertisers. We have 2 direct advertisers and the rest are CPA networks. Can you please tell me why it works like that? Why are CPA networks more interesting than advertisers? Guys, it's simple and straightforward. CPA networks are reliable, they're easy and guaranteed. A guarantee of approve, a guarantee of payment, a guarantee that most often direct advertisers have 1, 2, 3, or 5 offers, but only 1 geo. And it often happens that the advertiser just freezes your payment. A CPA network is responsible for communicating with advertisers and explaining why they need to pay money if, let's say, the call center for some reason processed something badly. A CPA network will help. It will naturally ask for proof from you. And their advertising office will see that you don't bet on lead generation, etc. A CPA network is your guarantee. It's easy to choose an offer. Its manager will help you. Because with the direct advertiser, for example, we worked with a direct advertiser from India, it was terrible. We weren't paid the full amount. Although we had the same offer driving into our CPA network, the same funnel with a conversion rate 5 times higher. As a result, some like it while others don't. They say that we have bad traffic. Although the same offer, the same link to the CPA network, everything is fine. Everything is the same, just a different call center and everything is great. So here I recommend that beginners don't start with direct advertisers. You will only benefit in price. That's all. You won't win anything else. The CPA network solves your problems, solves all the pain in different parts of your body. You just have to come and drive. And when you also have direct communication with the advertiser, it's not as easy as it seems. You have to solve a lot of problems. The CPA network solves the technical part. The CPA network solves communication with the advertiser plus a guarantee of payments. Anyway, guys, for both beginners and really big teams, I recommend working with CPA networks. This is the solution to your problems and will make your work easier, that's it. So it makes your job easier. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Tony, for your clear answers. Do you maybe have anything to add? I think we've discussed a lot of things already, even too much in depth. I really hope the guys will be interested because we've tried our best. I'm sure you will like it. We prepared for it a lot. It should be cool. Don't forget to write comments and to subscribe to Dr. Cash. Thank you, Roma and Tihin, for inviting me. I really like how everything we do is cool, awesome, and interesting. We give useful information, and that's why we're great. I think we'll have more than one meeting. Thank you for your attention. It's cool and interesting. I hope you liked it. We tried our best. If you have something to ask, text me if you want to ask questions or to Tihin if you want some offers. Yeah, thanks a lot, Tony. Thanks, Tihin. Tony, thanks for the info. Tihin, thanks for the support, that you were here today with us, and for the inspiration. And you, friends, thanks for watching. And please ask any questions in the comments. And suggest topics you'd like to see in the next video. We'll have a link to Dr. Cash chat, where you can suggest topics and guests for future streams on our channel. Thanks, guys, and I hope that the video was useful. Subscribe to our channel, like this video, have a great day, and may high ROI be with you.